This woman was heartbroken by one man twice, yet her love for him never wavered. Will she continue to endure heartbreak, or will he finally love her back? Let's discover together. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we're discussing a fascinating new Nigerian movie. Trust me, this isn't your typical story. There's so much to learn. Stay tuned and enjoy this amazing tale. The movie begins in a bustling upscale bar restaurant. Customers enjoy their meals while waitresses serve them diligently. Suddenly, a waitress delivers an order to a customer who, shockingly, touches her inappropriately. She confronts him, but when he refuses to stop, she slaps him. The commotion brings the manager, who sides with the customer due to his financial influence. He scolds the waitress and forces her to apologize. Heartbroken, she complies and storms off, while the manager continues appeasing the customer. Meanwhile, a lively group of friends, including several men and women, enters the bar. The manager greets them warmly as they settle in. In the staff room, Tilda, another waitress, consoles her distressed colleague. She advises her on handling inappropriate customers. Does working at a bar mean you're a target for such disrespect? Certainly not. Let's see what happens next. Back at the bar, the group of friends chat and laugh, even making fun of the waitresses and the manager. Among them, Alvin stands out as the leader, exuding wealth and charm. During their conversation, Leo mentions that Tilda had turned down his advances, surprising Alvin. The group proposes a bet. Each would put $10,000 on the line if Alvin could woo Tilda within 2 weeks. Alvin initially refuses, claiming she's out of his league, but the group continues their banter. Later, at Alvin's home, Ivory, his supposed fiancée, chats with Alvin's father, Chief, reminiscing about their family's history. Alvan arrives and Ivory excitedly greets him. However, when they're alone, Alvan coldly dismisses her, declaring he has no intention of marrying her despite their family's expectations. Chief, unaware of Alvan's true feelings, briefly interrupts their conversation. Alvin quickly switches to a warm demeanor, laughing with Ivory until his father leaves, only to revert to his dismissive attitude afterward. Ivory, confused and heartbroken, confides in Chief, who confronts Alvan. Surprisingly, Alvan denies everything, insisting Ivory is lying. Chief sternly reminds them that the marriage must happen. The following day, at the bar, Tilda accidentally bumps into Alvan, who overreacts dramatically before walking off to take a call. Later, he joins his friends and, to their excitement, announces he's ready to accept the $20,000 bet. A week passes. Alvin, avoiding home due to his father's pressure to marry Ivory, returns drunk one night. His father and Ivory help him to his room, but his drunken behavior disappoints Ivory, leaving her even more heartbroken. The next day, Alvin approaches Tilda at the bar, arrogantly demanding her phone number. She refuses, walking away and leaving him embarrassed. Later, as Tilda finishes work, she notices a car window's reflection while fixing her lip gloss, only to realize it's Alvin. He offers her a ride home, but she declines, surprising and intriguing him. A few days later, Alvin tracks down Tilda's home and causes a commotion in her compound. Shocked, she comes out to confront him. This time, he politely asks for her number, and she reluctantly gives it to him. He leaves, jubilant, while Tilda remains puzzled by his intentions. Back home, Alvin faces his father's wrath for his irresponsible lifestyle. Chief warns him to make the marriage work, as he introduced Ivory as his fiancée. Later, Tilda shares Alvin's unexpected visit with her colleague Bucky, who playfully teases her about Alvin's interest. Shortly after, Alvin surprises Tilda with a gift at work. She scolds him for showing up uninvited, but he apologizes and begins sweet-talking her. His flattery leaves Tilda momentarily charmed. Will her self-discipline prevail, or will she fall for his charm? At the bar, a customer causes a scene when his card declines, insulting and nearly assaulting Tilda. Alvan intervenes just in time, protecting her. Later, he offers to take her home, and though still shaken, she accepts. Here's the twist. Alvan orchestrated the entire scene with the customer to appear as Tilda's savior. His manipulative strategy is part of the $20,000 bet. Is his behavior justifiable, or is it outright wrong? Share your thoughts in the comments. Days passed, and Alvan began showering Tilda with unexpected love, care, and attention. One day, he booked a spa session for her and informed the bar manager that she wouldn't be coming to work that day, asserting his authority as the bar owner's son. Tilda, still in shock and bemused by his actions, accompanied him in his car. That evening, after their outing, Alvin dropped Tilda off at her home. In the car, Tilda couldn't contain her curiosity and asked him what had changed. She reminded him of his reputation: rude, disrespectful, and arrogant. To her surprise, Alvan responded calmly, admitting that he had hurt many people and wanted to make amends. He said she had helped him become a better person and was his inspiration. His words left Tilda blushing and smiling. Before leaving, Alvan told her he had something important to tell her the next day, leaving her eager and excited. That night, Tilda lay in bed, smiling uncontrollably as she replayed Alvan's words in her mind. Was this the start of love? Was Tilda falling for him? Let's find out. The next day at work, Tilda spoke with her friend Bucky, praising Alvin's transformation. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was Alvin, asking her to meet him outside. Bucky playfully urged her to go. When Tilda approached Alvin at the VIP table, she felt shy and nervous as his friends watched. Alvin greeted her warmly and, to her astonishment, kissed her passionately in front of everyone, leaving them stunned. He then asked her to be his girlfriend, and she shyly said yes. What happened next was devastating. Alvin shouted, "Yes, guys! She said yes! I won the bet!" Tilda was shocked as she watched him collect $20,000 from his friends. Leo mocked her, saying she had rejected him but accepted Alvin because of his money. Humiliated, Tilda mustered the courage to ask Alvin what was happening. Unapologetically, Alvin admitted it was all a game and laughed, saying she shouldn't take it personally. Tilda, heartbroken and embarrassed, ran away in tears. Later, Tilda confided in Bucky about her humiliation. Bucky consoled her, urging her to move on. The following day, Alvin and his friends gathered at the bar, boasting and laughing. When Bucky came to serve them, Alvin arrogantly demanded that Tilda serve him instead. Bucky refused, saying Tilda wasn't available. Alvan was about to create a scene when Tilda appeared. Alvin nonchalantly apologized and leaned in to kiss her, but Tilda slapped him and boldly confronted him. Humiliated, Alvin ordered the manager to fire her. Despite Tilda's attempts to explain, she was fired and left feeling helpless. A few minutes later, Alvan accidentally choked on an ice cube from his drink. While everyone panicked, Tilda stepped in and performed CPR, saving his life. Alvin, relieved, tried to thank her, but she angrily expressed her disappointment. At that moment, Chief walked in, having witnessed the scene. What Chief did next surprised everyone. He asked Tilda what her wish was and promised to grant it. To everyone's shock, Tilda requested to be the bar manager for 2 months, with Alvin working under her as a waiter. Chief immediately approved, firing the previous manager and enforcing the arrangement. Alvin, stunned, tried to resist, but Chief threatened to cut him off entirely if he refused. The next day, Tilda began her managerial duties, and Bucky congratulated her, teasing her about her rise from being fired to becoming the boss. Later, Alvan confronted his father, furious that his accounts had been frozen. Chief delivered another blow. He had removed Alvan as director of his companies and from his will, declaring he would rather be fatherless than have a son like Alvan. At the bar, Alvan initially refused to work, but was forced to comply. Tilda ensured he followed every rule, from wearing a waiter's uniform to addressing her respectfully. She monitored his work closely and stopped him from slacking or flirting with customers. One day, a customer, annoyed by Alvan's complaints, poured water on him. Tilda apologized to the customer and insisted Alvan get back to work. That night, she assigned him dishwashing duties, and his coworkers increased his workload, making him suffer. The following day, Alvan's friends mocked him when they saw him working as a waiter. Tilda sternly sent him back to work, further humiliating him. Later, Alvan apologized to Tilda, admitting he had been a terrible person, but she dismissed his words as insincere. Over time, Alvan experienced constant humiliation and began to understand how it felt to be mistreated. At night, he reflected on his life, filled with regret and fear. The next day, Tilda visited Chief to discuss business. On her way out, she saw a helpless Alvan but ignored him. Later, Alvan pleaded with Tilda for guidance on improving himself, admitting his inheritance depended on her appraisal. Moved by his desperation, Tilda decided to help him. She started by teaching him proper table settings, and over time, Alvan showed commitment and focus, gradually impressing Tilda with his efforts. Could this be the start of Alvan's transformation? Let's watch and see. Later at her office, Alvin showed a surprising level of care by offering to assist Tilda with her work. His actions left her deeply impressed, and she found herself thinking about him more and more. That night, Alvin escorted Tilda home and even helped her to her room. Overwhelmed by her emotions, Tilda kissed him, believing she might be starting something meaningful with him. But haven't we seen Tilda get hurt before? Why does she trust so easily? Let's find out. 2 months later, Alvin completed his term as a waiter. Tilda noticed that just seeing him made her heart flutter. Her friend Bucky warned her to be cautious, reminding her how easily she trusted and fell in love. However, Tilda defended her feelings, insisting that Alvin had changed and that giving people second chances wasn't a bad thing. Despite Bucky's concerns, Tilda was steadfast in her belief that Alvin loved her as much as she loved him. The following day at the bar, Chief asked Tilda for a report on Alvin's performance. Tilda gave a positive appraisal, which Chief found hard to believe, but ultimately accepted. Before leaving, Chief reminded her of the upcoming 15th anniversary celebration of the business and tasked her with ensuring its success. True to his word, Chief reinstated Alvin's inheritance. Alvin then asked for one more favor, his old position in the company, expressing his desire to earn a living and take responsibility for his life. This impressed Chief, who agreed, though he also asked Alvin to reconcile with Ivory, someone he had hurt deeply. Alvin promised to make amends, and father and son reconciled, celebrating Alvin's newfound determination. Days went by, and Alvin focused on improving himself. He stopped wasting money on frivolous activities and distanced himself from his old lifestyle, even rejecting his friends' invitations to party. He later reached out to Ivory to meet and resolve their past issues. That night, Tilda couldn't stop thinking about Alvin. Worried when he didn't answer her calls, she struggled to sleep. The next day, Tilda, in high spirits, was overseeing the bar's operations when she saw Alvin walk in with another woman. Though surprised, she composed herself and attended to them. The woman, Ivory, was unnecessarily rude, giving Tilda unreasonable orders. Instead of calming her down, Alvin joined in, speaking harshly to Tilda and embarrassing her further. When Ivory requested a different wine, Tilda tried to understand her preference, but Alvin raised his voice, telling her to just do her job. Humiliated, Tilda left to retrieve the wine, but returned heartbroken. Back in her office, Tilda broke down in tears. When Alvin entered, she confronted him, accusing him of pretending to change just to earn approval. Unmoved, Alvin coldly reminded her he had never promised her love. He urged her to control her emotions, which left her even more devastated. Before leaving, she kissed him one last time, her heart shattered. Later, at Chief's house, Alvin discussed wedding plans for him and Ivory. To Chief's surprise, Alvin humbly admitted there would be no wedding. He and Ivory had mutually agreed to part ways amicably, as Alvin wanted to focus on building a responsible life before considering marriage. Though disappointed, Chief respected his decision and gave his blessing. Days later, Alvin was at the bar with friends when he saw Tilda pass by. He became visibly distracted, and his friends teased him, suspecting he was in love. Alvin decided to follow her to her office. However, when he tried to talk, Tilda brushed him off, telling him to make his orders through the waitress, leaving him disappointed. The next day, Alvin's commitment to self-improvement became evident. He shared with his father updates about meetings with engineers and an upcoming building project. He also revealed he had enrolled in an MBA program, impressing Chief with his seriousness. Alvin thanked his father for never giving up on him, and Chief expressed pride in his son's transformation. Finally, the day of the 15th anniversary celebration arrived. Guests gathered, and Chief and Alvin welcomed them warmly. During the event, Alvin brought Tilda in front of everyone. Nervously, she listened as he publicly declared her the most important woman in his life. He professed his love and asked her to be his partner officially. However, memories of past humiliations flooded Tilda's mind. The $20,000 bet, her public embarrassment, and Ivory's rude behavior. Fearing another heartbreak, she ran away, shocking everyone and leaving Alvin humiliated. He immediately followed her outside to explain. Alvin confronted Tilda, asking why she ran. She reminded him of how he had hurt her repeatedly, making a fool of her in public. Alvin explained that his meeting with Ivory had been their final one to end things for good. He admitted his love for Tilda, apologized for his mistakes, and shared how he had been working on becoming the man she deserved. Tilda, already in love with him, forgave him. They professed their love for each other and sealed it with a kiss, marking the start of their new relationship. Love truly is a beautiful thing. Despite Tilda's heartbreaks and disappointments, her patience and belief in Alvan paid off. The once reckless Alvan became a transformed man, ready to embrace love and responsibility. If you enjoyed this story, please share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more engaging content. See you next time.